Welcome to this video on American literary giants of the 1920s and 1930s. We will explore the writers who defined a transformative era in American letters, capturing the spirit of disillusionment, decadence, and social upheaval that shaped modern literature. We begin with Chapter 1, focusing on the Lost Generation and the Jazz Age. The Lost Generation was coined by Gertrude Stein and used by Ernest Hemingway to describe writers alienated by World War I trauma and post-war materialism. Centered in Paris, these expatriates channeled their disillusionment into revolutionary literary forms. F. Scott Fitzgerald became the chronicler of the Jazz Age. His masterpiece, The Great Gatsby, is the definitive portrait of American ambition and moral bankruptcy. His lyrical prose blended romantic idealism with sharp social critique, mirroring his tragic romance with Zelda Sayre. Ernest Hemingway, a Nobel laureate, pioneered a spare, declarative prose style. His iceberg theory suggested a story's power lies beneath the surface, featuring short sentences and clarity to convey deep emotion through understatement. Paris in the 1920s was the epicenter of literary modernism, where American expatriates like Hemingway and Fitzgerald forged a new aesthetic in the cafes and salons of the left bank. William Faulkner, a Southern Gothic innovator, created the fictional Yoknapatawpha County. His dense, experimental prose, including Stream of Consciousness, explored themes of history, racial guilt, and the decay of the Old South. John Steinbeck served as the voice of the Great Depression. A champion of the dispossessed, his defining works like The Grapes of Wrath combined journalistic detail with social realism and deep empathy for working-class struggles. Gertrude Stein was an avant-garde experimentalist and the oracle of modernism. Her Paris salon was a meeting place for artists. Her radical, cubist prose rejected traditional narrative, prioritizing sound and rhythm over conventional representation. Chapter 2 is dedicated to literary styles and innovations of this transformative period. Modernism brought experimentation, including Faulkner's mastery of stream of consciousness, Hemingway's emotionally resonant minimalism, and Fitzgerald's lyrical social satire. These innovations shattered Victorian conventions to capture the fractured modern reality. The era also saw profound realism and social commentary. Steinbeck documented the Depression's devastation. Faulkner excavated the psychological damage of the South. Sinclair Lewis satirized middle-class conformity. The Harlem Renaissance expanded American voices. Langston Hughes brought jazz rhythms to poetry, while Zora Neale Hurston preserved Black Southern folklore in Their Eyes Were Watching God. The movement asserted cultural identity and challenged stereotypes. These writers produced iconic masterpieces like The Great Gatsby, The Sound and the Fury, and The Grapes of Wrath, which continue to define how we understand American identity and tragedy. We now move to Chapter 3, Cultural Impact and Legacy. Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby crystallized the American dream's paradox. Hemingway's existentialism portrayed characters finding, quote, grace under pressure, defining meaning through dignity and courage in an absurd world. The Great Depression spurred literature to act as witness. Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath exposed exploitation and championed social justice, while Faulkner revealed the deep, complex contradictions of Southern identity under duress. These giants influenced future generations. Hemingway's minimalism shaped global prose. Faulkner's narrative experiments inspired postmodernism. Steinbeck established a tradition of activist literature, and Fitzgerald's critique remains timeless. Today's storytellers, from novelists to filmmakers, continue to draw from these literary giants. They adapt their works, emulate their techniques, and engage with the fundamental themes these pioneers introduced. The enduring power of 1920s and 1930s literature lies in its capturing of transformation, defining American identity, and achieving literary revolution. Their works remain vital, speaking across generations. We invite you to explore these masterpieces yourself.